Sonic has just announced that its $200 million airdrop is now eligible for US residents. This is a game changer. Also, they've announced their plan around how the airdrop is going to allocate it, and I'm going to share exactly how many Sonic tokens you're going to get, because it's not as straightforward as you may think. Let's get straight into this one. First and foremost, we have to start with this breaking news that American users are now eligible for the $200 million Sonic airdrop, a major milestone tweeted out by Sonic Labs earlier in the day. Of course, you guys know the amount of scrutiny that goes around US airdrops and residents, with the SEC kind of zooming in and checking everything. This is a major milestone that the team have done their checks and they're opening it up to US citizens. Huge move here. Also, we need to get into the distribution of how you can start to get your tokens, and then we're going to jump into the price action to see not just how is Sonic doing versus Bitcoin, which of course you can see is at some of its lowest levels since February, but can we now start to set up a big pattern to work our way out? Remember this sequence which I shared with you guys, this big triangle which broke to the downside? Well, guess what? All of that leverage would have been flushed out. You've reached your bottom pivot point. Is this now a good risk to reward point to long up towards the 57-65 level? We're going to break that down in the technicals and a lot more, but let's kick off with this big news, which is that American users can now use Sonic and claim the airdrops. Now, why is this a big deal? This is, of course, a big deal for various reasons, right? First and foremost, it's a huge population. Second of all, you know there's high disposable income in the US. These are the kind of people that will be wanting to use DeFi. They're very familiar with DeFi. And now that Sonic is eligible and those people can get part of the $200 million Sonic airdrop, this becomes a game changer. It's going to be the reason that many people will start to sway their decisions and start to use Sonic. Tying in with that perfect, the first season, and remember, this is now being split out across seasons. The first season of Sonic airdrop will be distributed in 2 phases. I'm going to break down exactly what this means for you. So if you're holding on to Sonic and you want to know how much of your funds you're going to get, I'm going to break that down because it's not as simple as you think, and you're going to be forced to vest some. Now, first and foremost, before I go into the vesting, this means you cannot claim all your airdrop tokens in one go. So if you're sitting there on 1,000 Sonic tokens as your airdrop reward, you're not going to get that on day one, okay? Or you can get as much as you can. I'm going to show you how it kind of works out. But what they're trying to do here is stop people from just taking their Sonic and dumping it on the open market. So for those of you who are interested in the long-term performance of Sonic, you guys will be pleased to know that there's not just going to be, $200 million worth of tokens dumped on the market, increasing circulating supply, but it's going to be controlled. I'm going to go into how this is controlled. Now, of course, if you were just looking to maximize your airdrop, maybe you're going to be a little bit upset. Let's take a look. It's going to be released in a linear decay mechanism, okay? So it's going to be released gradually over time through the different phases, and ultimately they want you to vest it over 270 days as NFT positions. So the first season of the Sonic airdrop becomes claimable 6 months after Sonic's launch. Okay, so we know it launched at the start of this year, a January period, so call it by June, right? June 2025, which is around the corner, right? We're in June right now, but at some point, any moment now, your NFTs will be deployed. Now, what that means is you will get 25% straight away, not as an NFT, cash. Okay, well, not cash, Sonic. You're going to get 25% of your total immediately, and the 75 remaining vests over 270 days as NFT positions. Now, here's the caveat. You can get more if you need more, but you will be penalized and you will have to burn some of your tokens. Very important you understand this, guys. You will be penalized and you will have to burn some of your tokens, which I'm going to break down exactly here for you. If you want to take out the rest, the 75% remaining, within 30 days, you will be burning anywhere between 188.9% of your holdings. Basically all of it. right? It's going to be painful. In other words, you're just going to get 10-11% of that remaining 75%. If you can wait beyond that into 31 to 60 day range, it's 88.9 to 77.8, and so on and so forth. Let's take an example, which they give a nice example here at the bottom, which helps us understand. Andrew earns 1,000 Sonic. Hopefully, if your name is Andrew, hopefully you got more than 1,000 Sonic. 1,000 Sonic in the Sonic airdrop. Andrew claims his 25% liquid allocation immediately and receives 250S in his wallet. Okay, so whatever your airdrop amount is, the headline figure that you're seeing, take 25% of that. That is the Sonic amount you'll get into your wallet right away when the airdrops are announced. Okay, let's keep that really, really simple. Now, for the remainder 75%, let's take a look. 90 days pass and Andrew returns to the claim portal, deciding he would like the rest of his airdrop. As 90 days have passed, okay, so if we come into this category, 90 days, it's this point here, okay, 66.7. He can claim only 249.75S tokens. So in other words, he can only claim 33.3% of the remainder of his allocations, okay? The rest, the 66.7% that I'm highlighting here, is burnt. Okay, so 250S goes into his wallet. That's the first 25%. Of the remainder 75%, if he wants it within the, after 90 days, he's going to get another 249S, but he's got to burn 500S. So long story short, within that 90 days, because he wants all of it immediately, he had to burn half of his airdrop. Okay, now if you want to be patient and you wait 270 days, you can get all of it. Okay, so you can get all of it. You're just going to have to leave that 75% for over 270 days. Anything sooner than 270 days and you will be paying a penalty. And again, they're doing this to stop people from just increasing circulating supplies, because you can look at the number here, 190.5 million S tokens will be distributed, and that's going to, of course, have an effect on circulating supply and price action, and then people won't be happy. So I understand why they're trying to put this mechanism in place, and I think it's sensible, particularly in the interest of long-term holders. For those who are just airdrop farming, they may be upset, but again, for the long-term health of the ecosystem, we need to understand that this is how things have to be. Let's also take a look at a few other things, and that's, of course, for those who have forgotten, right? Fee monetization. I mean, name another chain, and maybe this is at Sonic's peril. I see a lot of people complaining about Sonic price action and the chart, and we'll get to it shortly. But name another layer 1 blockchain, I'll sit here and wait, that gives 90% of the fees to the apps, to the dApp developers. Who gives it? I'll wait. Nobody. If you want to trade Sonic, link will be in the description to BITUNIX, which is a partner platform of mine. It is an affiliate link. Okay, it does you no harm. It just saves you on fees. Link is in the description. Trade at least 1 million Sonic, guys. Go do that in the description. 1 million minimum. Right, let's now jump onto the chart so we know, Sonic is looking good. We can also take a look at DeFi Llama. You can see total value lock still sits at $1.9 billion. You're starting to see some of these protocols really start to pick up. Silo, Aave, Beats. It reminds me of the early days of DeFi. We're starting to see some of that activity start to creep back. But of course, everybody just wants a powerful altcoin season, right? We're sitting here, just here above my head. If you take a look, we're in a Bitcoin season. Everybody wants to see the start of this altcoin season. And of course, Sonic is no less. So that brings me to the chart pattern. And you guys could see we were in this symmetrical triangle pattern. We broke down, right? We faked out to the top side, pretty typical, came to the downside. And of course, when you break to the downside, your price target is to come to the bottom of the channel. And again, we did that, right? We went as low as 37 cents on Saturday. But now we started to see some strength, which is really, really good. Again, this is a key level of support here for Sonic. We really don't want to be losing this because we've not really, we've wicked lower than this before on that crazy day on the 3rd of Feb. But apart from that, in the Sonic era, we've not fallen below that 37 level mark, and we don't really want to be doing that. So now this becomes a nice area to take a good risk to reward long here, because this is a typical situation where you're waiting for a pattern to break to the downside. It fakes everybody out because everybody starts taking long positions because it's too obvious. And so market makers go, hang on, we're going to flush all of you guys out. Once it's finished flushing people out, then you start to see the wider, bigger move. And so I'm quite excited to see this leg up. I think the risk to reward now is definitely to the long side. First price target of 57 cents. Second price target I'll be looking at is 64. And then of course up here at 83 as well. So those are the levels I'm looking at here for Sonic. Hopefully we do start to see some positivity in the wider altcoin space, which again is looking good. If I look at the daily chart on Bitcoin dominance, we created this high, we flushed down. It looks like we're trying to create a lower high, which is a good. Can we get a reversal to start getting this Bitcoin dominance to chill out and slowly start to see an awakening of altcoins? Because at the moment we're just seeing select altcoins really move, right? Of course, Hyperliquid has been a big one. I actively traded that one in our free Telegram group. Make sure you get in there. That's up 13% today. And again, we captured a really big spot move on that one in our community. WIF is moving. You're still getting this kind of energy in meme coins, but sooner or later, you're going to start seeing some of these quality plays move. And I think that's just how markets rotate. They play around with memes, but eventually the search for quality, the rotation into quality is going to come through. And that is where people will start to study the platforms, study the tech, study the tokenomics, study the value to see what's undervalued. And for me, that's where this tiny bubble of Sonic starts to come into play. So there you have it, guys, a big announcement on the Sonic airdrop. Hopefully this video clarifies how much you're going to get, what it means that now the US market can start to jump into Sonic. If you like this type of update, smash up the likes. Do not forget to subscribe if you actively want to trade with me. Link will be in the description to my Telegram group. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.